back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. So we are out here in the jungle. The buttercup that's on our property has hit its peak and it's starting to die back, which is awesome. I have not maintained out here. This is our old pig pen and I am due to mow out here, but we have gotten so much rain in the last couple of weeks that I haven't been able to even pretend to be able to get my mower out here. Thankfully, not long ago, we had some forethought into what we wanted to do out here, and we did lay down this weed fabric. So we've blocked out the weeds. You can see the soil underneath. It's essentially just clay. We have planted in pure clay in the past and had pretty good success. I really think that it depends on a lot of factors if that is going to work, and whether or not you're going to have a really wet year is part of that. And recently we decided we were going to nix our original plan for this space. Originally I wanted to put a strip of corn right here. Ideally we would amend this clay with some compost and till it in a little bit in order to sow some corn. We failed to properly block out the grass in this space at the end of last season, and trying to work the ground earlier in the season when the grass had already started to establish was not working out well for us. So I have taken that out of the plan and decided just to put our Dutch fork pie pumpkins out here. Here they are. I bought the seed from So True Seeds. I actually purchased it twice. I bought this at the end of the season last year when I saw Jess at Roots and Refuge harvest hundreds of pounds of pumpkins out of a patch that she essentially just planted and walked away from. It was very, very inspiring. Now, in most years, squash of all sorts really doesn't do super well here. We have really bad issues with squash bugs and squash vine borers, and really it's the borers that do the most damage around here. Last year, we had a very good squash year, and I think part of that was because we had a very intense, super low freeze the year prior that I think probably did away with a lot of the bugs that were dormant in the soil. But this variety is supposed to be very resistant to things like that. It's designed for the South. It's debatable whether or not Kentucky is the South. I like to think that we are. The humidity definitely makes me think that we are in the South, and the state bird is out. The state bird of Kentucky is the mosquito, if you were not aware. Obviously I'm kidding, but it feels like it. I did spray myself with a little bit of Terra Shield. It's not working super awesome, so I'm gonna try to get these planted before I get eaten alive. There are 17 holes here and there's approximately 12 seeds per packet. I would like to put 2 seeds per hole just to ensure that we have good germination and I can plant the other 5 when the other seeds show up, because I had to reorder these. I couldn't find where I put them because I organized, and whenever I organize I tend to lose things. So I've got more on the way, so no problem. So the way that I'm going to be planting these is pretty basic. I showed you we have this bed of clay right here. I'm not really going to plant down into the clay. In years past, what I have done is dig a little bit of the clay out of the hole with a trowel and replace it with potting soil like that, or any kind of garden soil, and then planted my seed inside of that. And that does work really well to give the seed the best chance to put its roots down in and to not have to fight clay to try to break out of the soil. We are scheduled to have even more rain coming up here soon, and the clay is quite soft, so I'm not super worried about the seeds in that regard. So what I'm going to do is put 2 seeds just on top of the clay in each one of these holes, and then essentially top dress them and bury them with this soil just like that. About a ½ inch worth. I could probably put a little bit more on it. The general rule of thumb with seeds is you want to plant them twice as deep as they are wide. So this guy's a little bit more than a ¼ inch wide, so we can go a little bit more than a ½ inch deep. I happen to know that this area, when it was a pig pen, was the pig's bathroom, so the clay is quite fertile. I don't know if you can tell, but behind Mochi, there is much better forage for him than these spent buttercups. But does he want what's good for him? No. He wants what's bad for him. Because goats are crazy. Are you actually going after this good grass right here? Okay, well there's a lot behind you too. It's gonna make things difficult. I got 15 out of the 17 holes planted because they did put extra seed in the packet, which is always appreciated. I do have a sprinkler that I plan on running out here during the season when we don't have so much rain, but for now we're gonna water these in with a watering can. Really, this 100-foot hose might reach. I just don't think it can get to all the way to the end. Let's see. Whenever I burn holes in weed fabric, I like to tack down the outside edges of that hole for a couple reasons. One of the main reasons is the winds that we have here will get in underneath the weed fabric through the hole and blow it around a lot and just increase the airflow underneath the weed fabric to a degree where it dries things out a little bit faster. Plus, this gapping that you see here will allow some light through, and where there's light, there will be weeds. So just gonna tack one on either side. Sometimes I'll do 3, but it's not always necessary. That'll do just fine. One of the blessings that we have is that our land is old tobacco farmland. So this land was tilled and cultivated for years, and there's essentially 0 stones in it. That sounds really ideal, and it is in some senses, but when it gets muddy, it's muddy. Like, there's nothing helping you from sinking. It does make it so these staples slide in really easy though. Hey guys, it's the next day and I just got done mowing. We are going to do one of those random homestead tasks that needs to be done, but I wanted to show you something really cool. So Levi and I have had a P.O. box for the channel for our homestead for about 2 years, and we check it periodically and we get all kinds of really cool things. I want to thank you guys so much, but I wanted to show you this particular package that we got because they have a really cool channel on YouTube with some really awesome products that they make. Payne County Rust. This says that it is a meat and veggie seasoning. It says grilled steaks, chicken, shrimp, burgers come alive when they're seasoned with rust, but don't use it on just the grill. Try it on eggs, roasted veggies, baked potatoes to season pot roast, popcorn, corn on the cob, or salads. So it sounds very versatile. I already peeked at this if you saw it was open. It's got a lot of paprika in it, so it's not spicy. There's also this one that seems a little bit more coarse, some sweet and spicy dills, and some barbecue sauce. So this is a blessing. It's a perfect gift for us for summertime. Thank you so much. So my daughter Addison eventually wants to show some of our goats. She got a collar for Miss Alara. She's been training her to walk nicely, which is a valuable skill for a goat to know, even if you're not showing. Being able to lead them is super vital. Here she comes. She's doing so good. Addie doesn't normally lead her outside the barn. She's a little confused. Hi, Winnie. Winnie wants attention. You are actually too small to tattoo today. Yeah. You ready, Laura? You can guide her in there. It's unlocked.
She's dirty.
Winnie might follow you. That's okay if she does. Good job. All right.
No, not over there. Too big and...
Little Miss Alara is a registered F1 Mini Lamancha, and in order to register a goat, they really need to be tattooed. Very often we tend to do things backwards. We'll register them first with the tattoo that they're going to get, and then we'll tattoo them later, mostly because it takes a long time for them to get big enough for the tattoo to fit well. So on Nigerian dwarves, you tattoo inside each ear. The herd tattoo goes on the right ear, and the kid number tattoo and the year that they were born goes in the left ear. And it's the the same thing for Lamanchas, except for there's no ears. You put it on their tail. Here is Ilara's paperwork. It's official. And here we have her tattoo. So the right tail web is SNS4. That's our herd tattoo. On the left, S4. S represents the year, which is 2024. She was the 4th kid born. And she's a big girl. She fits well in the head catch, which I prefer for doing tattoos, just so we can hold them still. I put Winnie on the stand earlier. I trimmed her hooves, but she could slide right through that, so she's not big enough for me to do her tattoo quite yet. She's not really going to be a fan of any of this, but what I need to do is I've got an alcohol prep pad here, just to clean the area. You could trim up these excess hairs on the side, but they're really not going to be in the way. Sorry, it's not the most glamorous view that you get here, but this is what we mean by tail web. This like side skin right here. This is what we're aiming for. You can also tattoo in the center, but it would have to be marked on the paperwork, and her markings are for the right tail and the left tail. There's no center marking. So I have a whole little tattoo and castration kit that I keep inside a tackle box. Helps keep everything organized. Here's a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And I do have 2 clamps with several sets of numbers, and I'll show you what these look like in just a second. I did just tattoo a goat a couple days ago, and I want to put these numbers back in the alcohol to help sterilize them. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Wow, this is stuck. It's really not required that you have 2 sets of clamps. It's just easiest because most of the time all of the goats are gonna have your same herd tattoo. So it's nice, especially when you're doing a whole lot of goats at once, to have one of these loaded with the herd tattoo and then the other one be the one that you change out with the numbers. I have one of these tackle box things organized with all the letters and numbers that these clamps come with. And this is essentially what they look like. So you can tell here that this is the number 9. When I flip this around, it's all of these little pins that make up that number 9. And these pins are gonna poke into the skin and leave little indentations that we will then fill with tattoo ink. Right now I'm looking for a number 4. Yeah. Getting our numbers all cleaned up. Got all the numbers loaded in there. And that bar is gonna lock them in. We can test this on a piece of paper just to make sure it's gonna turn out all right. We're looking for SNS4. Perfect. And then her kid tattoo is S4. This is what's gonna go on the left tail web. We'll double check this. Perfect. When you purchase kits like this, I got mine from Caprine Supply. You can choose from several different tattoo inks. I think they traditionally come with black. From what I hear, the green ink works better. So this is what we have and this is what we use. I guess it lasts longer, and longevity is important. We want these tattoos to last and remain legible, hopefully through the life of the goat. So I'm just double checking what I'm doing. I know that our herd tattoo, SNS4, goes on the goat's right side. So this is her right, and then her kid tattoo is gonna go on the left side. So with Lamanchas, it's easier if you can get on top of them and straddle them like this. I am gonna do the herd tattoo first on this right side tail web. So I'm just going to kind of pull the skin to the side and then clamp down hard. Good girl. I know. So you can't see anything right now, but we're gonna fill that with ink and then you'll be able to see that later. I'm gonna do this one next just so we can get it out of the way for her. Good girl. A little bit goes a long way with the ink. Whoop! Came out kind of fast. I know, I'm sorry. So you did hear her protest a little bit, I would too. But honestly, I feel like the Lamanchas with their tails, they handle that a lot better than the Nigerians with the ears. I really wish we could just tattoo everybody's tail, because everyone has a tail, but not everybody has ears. She's pretty hefty. Ugh. Maybe 12 weeks old? I'll have to look. She's chunk. The ink is gonna wear off of all of the skin that we didn't puncture, and those little puncture holes are gonna retain the ink, and she'll have her tattoo. Clover's babies right here, her twin boys. Look at how big they are. They're big and beautiful, and they're hiding from me a little bit. I did castrate these two boys, so they are going to be part of our meat program. They're growing beautifully. They're some of the healthiest standard kids that we've ever had. Damn, they're so big and shiny. They look so good. They've never been sick, knock on wood. I did manage to get the pumpkin patch mowed today. It's not perfect, but it was really tall, and I'll be able to maintain it better from here on out. The plan is, as the pumpkins grow, I'll just sort of mow ahead of them. I might even be able to take like a propane torch and burn down the foliage in front of them. And then as the pumpkins grow, their leaves will shade out the grass and berry, and hopefully we get somewhat of harvest. I'll be happy with just a few pumpkins. So with 17 chances at getting that right, I think we're gonna have some success. Knock on wood, anything could happen really.